Okay, so I have a quick devotion. In the book of Matthew, as you well know, we first read of Jesus' birth, then we fast forward to his baptism by John the Baptist, followed by his temptation in the wilderness. In chapter 4, he begins his ministry in Galilee. But before he starts teaching in the synagogues and proclaiming the good news of God, God's kingdom, Jesus invites 4 men to be his disciples. Jesus came, as you know, to offer the world salvation through his sacrificial death on the cross. But God had ordained that men and women would become his disciples and to proclaim the good news in every generation until his return. And he will return. Jesus didn't seek out disciples in the city of Jerusalem, interesting enough, where all the learned people were and the religious people resided. He went to Capernaum to seek out ordinary people like you and me. Jesus does not initially explain what following him will look like, although he does throughout the Gospel of Matthew. What he does tell them is by following him, they will become fishers of men. By faith, they accept his words and they leave behind their worldly occupation and decide to follow Jesus. Let me read a few of the verses. While walking by the Sea of Galilee, he, Jesus, saw 2 brothers, Simon, who is called Peter, and Andrew, his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. And he said to them, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." Immediately, it says, they left their nets and followed him, and going on from there, he saw 2 brothers, James, and the son of Zebedee, and his brother John, in a boat with Zebedee their father, mending their nets, and Jesus called them. Immediately, it says, they left their boat and their father and followed him. They decided to follow Jesus. We are here today because we have decided to follow Jesus and will accept his commission to become his disciples and to make disciples in the world. As these 4 men, along with 8 others, follow Jesus, they will discover that the path is not always easy. They will learn to put the needs of others before their own wants and desires. They will endure long and sleepless days and nights. They will lose sleep, go hungry, and face ominous storms in a boat. They will fear for their lives. They will see their master suffer persecution and die an agonizing death. They will make mistakes and they will disappoint Jesus. Peter will even deny that he knew Jesus. Yet God uses their experiences and adversities to refine them. Their lives are transformed and they are empowered by God's Spirit to speak the word, preach to the world, and lay the foundation for Christ's church. When it comes to syrup, there is no fast process. It is slow and painstaking. The traditional Native Americans' art of making maple syrup takes large quantities, maybe some of you know this, of a useless substance and turns it into something worth stretching your grocery budget to buy. First, the workers venture into the woods called the sugar bush, and they use hand drills to make small holes in the trunks of maple trees. The metal tube called a spile is tapped into each hole, and a bucket is hung on the spile. The sap begins to drip into buckets, and it's thin and clear like water with only a hint of sweetness. On a good day, 50 trees will yield 30 to 40 gallons of sap. That's 50 trees. As the buckets fill, they are emptied into large kettles over an open fire. The sap comes to a slow boil, and as it boils, the water is reduced and the sugars become concentrated. Hours later, it has developed a rich flavor and golden brown color. Then it must be strained several times to remove impurities before it is reheated, bottled, and graded for quality. The end product of 30 to 40 gallons of sap, 1 gallon of maple syrup.
Wow.
No wonder it's expensive.
Yeah.
When we first decide to follow Jesus, we are like the raw, unfinished sap. We could have been tossed aside, worthless, like mere fishermen, right? But God knew what he could make of us. He sought us and he called us, and his skillful hands are transforming us into something that is precious and sweet and useful. As we follow Jesus and serve him in CBS, we will experience the refining process. We may at times feel tired and discouraged. We may feel fearful and overwhelmed, but we can trust that when we follow Jesus, he will come forth, bring us forth as pure, genuine, fruitful disciples, sweet and valuable like maple syrup. We can agree with the Apostle Paul, who said, "And I am sure of this, that he who began a good work in you will bring it to completion on the day of Jesus Christ," Philippians 1:6. May you and I decide daily that we will follow Jesus, putting the cross before us and the world behind us.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.